they are their own brand, and they are selling themselves also. They're attached to the business that they work at. So if they're not really pushing and doing the social media to get the attention back in the current landscape of the world that we live in, then like it hurts them a little bit because they're not actually getting their reach out as far as they could be or pulling in as much business as maybe they could be as well.
It's definitely true. Yeah, there's so much business out in like the content world and through Instagram and social media. The amount of DMs I get when just people say, oh, I was at this party, you were DJing it. Or I bet you get a lot of stuff, hey, like I found out through Smokehouse through a friend or someone's Instagram. That's how it is. But some people just don't want to get on that wave. I think it's going to hurt them a lot if they don't.
In our current landscape.
And currently how it's going, right.
It's waiting on fries. That you don't get it? What do you mean you don't get waiting on fries?
Hopefully the customer never hears waiting on fries. But all this time on the entree and it's perfectly executed and then you're like,
ready to go.
I forgot to fire the fries.
I just always use that when I forgot to put somebody's order in and I was like, hey, I'm just waiting on the fries. It's going to be 2 more minutes. Realistically, I come back 10 minutes with the food.
Exactly. They just know that their food's not there and the server said they're still waiting on fries.
I guess we're just waiting on fries.
Not only because we're fans of Sloop Brewing Co., but also because they've sponsored this show. Sloop Brewing Company operates out of Fishkill, New York, and are brewers of the one and only Juice Bomb, a Northeastern IPA, and other world-class ales and lagers. Visit their Instagram at Sloop Brewing Co. or find their website at sloopbrewing.com in the show notes.
Speaking of Sloop Brewing Company, just booked the official U.S. Open Sloop Tee-Off Party.
Well, that's cool.
For the U.S. Open in June.
What's that mean?
It's be Thursday on the 18th, on the first day of the Open.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this already.
Yeah, because the U.S. Open is in town, so they're expecting
a whole bunch of people?
Between 100,000 and 200,000 people per day in Mamaroneck. I don't even know really how to prepare for that. I'm trying to wrap my brain around the fact that many people are going to be in town.
That's insane. Really going to be a thing?
Yeah, because the U.S. Open is at Wingfoot, which is half a mile down the street from the bar.
Or you're going to blow up.
And the attendance of the U.S. Open is between 100 and 200,000 people a day. It gets like higher, as the day. And then Sunday's Father's Day, so that weekend's going to be nuts. Like I don't even that many people.
You can't even.
Yeah, I can't even. That many people inside of a small demographic.
Yeah.
Like that
is your demographic.
Yeah.
Especially on Father's Day weekend.
100%.
It's like barbecue and golf. Let's go.
They took the whole field down by the harbor, closed it off. That's going to be just parking, and they're running a shuttle up and down the Ave from the harbor to Wingfoot with all these people. So you're going to pass right by the store. It's going to be nuts. So we started planning for that. It's going to be one of the highlight weekends of the summer.
That's pretty cool. I'm saddened I won't be around.
Big deal. Where are you going to be?
I will be in Nebraska cheering on one of Gloria's cousins as she swims to compete in the Olympics.
Nice.
True. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. So when is this U.S. Open?
It's Father's Day weekend.
What's Father's Day?
June 18th to the 21st. The 21st is the Father's Day.
It's like right into the heart of busy season.
Yes, it's one of the nuggets we have to start preparing for now with our downtime.
Yep. I mean, there's been a lot of downtime. I got my ass handed to me the other night at work, actually. We were ill-prepared for such. In fact, they called the other bartender off because it's been so slow the last couple of weeks that we didn't really need to have 2 bartenders, or so we thought.
Or so you thought.
Until I ran out of glassware, and I was like, where the hell's the bar back to help me out over here while I'm trying to keep my head above water?
You called the other bartender, and the bar back off?
Well, the bar back was
like very
on.
poor planning.
The bar back was on, but he was acting like he was off.
Okay.
That's a whole nother problem.
Yeah,
that was a whole nother problem.
Definitely a different problem. But I definitely know that feeling of getting caught off guard. That happened to us a couple weeks ago. It was seemingly normal Tuesday night, but it just ended up being busier than we thought it would be, and certain people were left running out of things, which is kind of a big no-no. It's unfortunate when that happens, but sadly it does happen sometimes.
Running out of things just purely because higher business and you ran out?
Yeah, just unexpected extra business, and so the pars weren't set the way they should have been, and prep wasn't done, that sort of thing.
So there's you have a par list when you go into work that says, hey, you have to have this much XX, whatever it is, prepped.
Yeah.
And you would...
And then it's your responsibility to make sure that you have all the stuff checked off on your list by the time service starts.
Okay. So you did your par levels and you ran out of things.
Yeah.
Well, that means it was more busy than you anticipated.
It's like running a Tuesday, but then you get a Thursday.
Exactly.
Okay,
Something like that.
unexpectedly. So I mean, yeah,
It's the pitfalls of the down season.
Exactly. It's just being lulled into comfort by the down season and not thinking that this Tuesday is going to explode, and then it does, and you're just like,
I like that.
Drop the
Lulled
ball.
into comfort. It's like a false sense of,
Exactly.
it's going to be slow again.
There's a lot of that mentality you see with the staff when they come in and it's slow season and it's
Yeah.
Tuesday. They're just like
Just
coming
another
in.
day.
Oh, I got my coffee. I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm gonna hang out in the back. I'm not
Exactly.
gonna.
You're just
come
like
in.
on autopilot until something shocks you out of it.
And then you slack and you don't do your stuff and you don't get your stations ready and you don't have your par levels ready. And then, bam, you get hit in the face
Yep.
and stuff runs out and then Justin's mad at you.
Nobody wants Justin mad at you.
You're completely right. I mean, I was in that false sense of security the other night when I went in, and I was expecting that I was going to be done super early. The back bar shut down.
And then you showed up here talking about how much your feet hurt.
And I was like, I'm actually sore today from like weird walking around that I wasn't mentally prepared. Is that even a thing? Can
No.
you be sore from not being
No.
mentally prepared?
Not if you work in the restaurant
No, you
industry.
definitely can. Like, I need to prepare myself, whether I'm doing an expo or if I'm running the bar, if I'm managing the floor, if I'm
I
being
mean,
a host.
mentally, but like physically.
Like, I got to put my right shirt on and get myself ready. So if I'm coming in thinking I'm going to run the floor tonight and then all of a sudden I got to do expo, I'm going to be exhausted by the end of the night because I didn't get ready for expo.
but we're
Right.
talking about getting ready mentally.
Yeah, but you're
Other than changing your shirt physically, what do you do differently?
Yeah, you have to have my mentality.
Mentally, yeah.
You know, expo mentality versus floor. Like on the floor, you have to go and talk to people. It's a little more
Yeah.
finesse. And the expo, you gotta bang
get it done.
shit out. You know, so it's
Yeah.
all I could get my mindset ready for the night. And if I'm not ready, I gotta switch. It's that extra power I gotta use to.
Do you like
change
listen to a
mindsets.
different like hype song depending on what position you're working?
No, I should probably do that.
You should,
though.
yeah.
like Eye of the Tiger for the expo line.
I mean, you probably want something a little bit more high energy than Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, what would that be?
I don't know. I don't have a dedicated hype song. You have a hype song?
I got a couple.
The hype thing is important. That's what I
It
try
is.
to-
You have to get
Yeah.
like focused and ready to go.
I try
You
to get
have
the staff to stay hyped up, like through the dead season, you know. And we do different things and come in, and I just keep running. Like I'll book as many parties as I can. Like we did Fat Tuesday night.
How was that?
You know, it was awesome. We
Yeah.
had a packed night. It was like Friday. We had,
It's always nice when a Tuesday's like a Friday.
Yeah, we had
as long as you're
music. We
prepared.
did people love tacos, so Bottomless Tacos is gonna
Yeah.
bring whoever in.
Bitches
But-
love tacos.
And then I booked another like a happy hour party last night with a bunch of guys. Wanted to throw, you know, a friend of theirs that got engaged. They wanted to throw a party. Said, you know what? Wednesday's a perfect day, so I can get a Friday and a Thursday. And now we're Thursday. You know, instead
Yeah.
of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I get Monday,
Thursday,
Friday,
Friday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
do you follow
You,
the way
uh,
I just put that down?
you briefly made a valid point about music getting people hyped, though. And today, guess what we're actually doing, though?
Holy shit, that was so relevant.
Wow.
It was, and he breezed over it like it
Yeah.
was nothing. It was such a fantastic transition there. We
You're
missed
welcome.
You were like setting a spike for. We were playing volleyball. You put the spike right up there, and
Right
I
there
just,
for it.
I went and got water.
We're actually talking to a DJ today.
Yeah.
We're talking to DJ Ryan Vandal, who's going to give us a lot of insight here about what the relation is of music into certain types of business models like bars and late night crowds and keeping people drinking and moving. And, you know, he's also a master of branding, I think we could say as well. So we'll talk about all those things in a little bit too. But, you know, touching on these slow points, and what was that phrase that you just used, Nooms?
Lulled into a sense of comfort.
He said that right off the tip of his tongue, like he was practicing that one all night too. So with that,
Maybe I was.
With that said,
Maybe I was.
you know, there's a lot of, you see it as you go into a place. There's a lot of standing around, maybe playing on a phone, where it's like almost you would think it's acceptable, which it's not by any means.
It's definitely not. I don't know where you're coming from, but
No,
we don't do
definitely
that.
not. But I'm saying places that we walk into here, we see this often where people just aren't really doing things in all this downtime. But at the end of the day,
They're not moving without the ball.
what was that?
They're not moving without the ball.
Explain that.
So to break it down for all the NARPs, stands for non-athletic regular people.
Oh, I'm the 33.33% in this room.
Yeah, the NARPs. So for the NARPs in the room, it's a basketball reference. And you know, if you watch basketball, a point guard brings the ball down, and everybody else on the team moves around, creates
Wait, hold on. Jay, a team is a group of people who
group
play a
people
sport
playing
together.
a sport against another team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And collectively, they're trying to score more points than the
You
other.
look confused.
Gotcha.
I just wanted to make sure.
So the point guard, he's the one carrying the ball, so that's where all the action is. And it would be very easy for the other 4 players, because there's 5 on a team, Jay. It's very easy for the other 4 players to just stand there and not doing anything. But then that would leave the point guard as the only person doing something, and it wouldn't create a successful outcome.
Gotcha.
So the other guys have to move around without the ball in preparation for receiving the ball and to move the team forward.
Okay.
So I use that analogy with the same with the staff. When it's not busy, everybody gets lulled into comfort, and they just hang around waiting for business to happen.
But you can't just wait. You got to be ready for it.
If you don't have a table or you don't have a guest, you got to look around and see what you got to do to get ready. So when the guest comes to you, you can dunk it.
There's that famous phrase, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean.
Oh, I hate that phrase. But yes, you are very correct.
It's true.
Yeah, it is very true. So, I mean, the things that I tend to see, or the things that, we slack on as far as being maybe behind the bar that could be more proactively attended to, the pour spouts is like the number one thing that is disgusting consistently. And that's the one thing that, as our busy season and warmer weather approaches, is going to aid in breeding these fruit flies and giving them a place to hang out.
But that's like every day, dude. Like,
but I feel like if
we're
it's
talking
such
about dull season.
Yeah, and also if those pour spouts are such a problem, why not just eliminate pour spouts altogether?
Yeah.
Well, because
bye-bye.
Many environments need speed to make money, and if
so, you're saying you can't pour speedily without a pour spout?
Correct.
Why can't you just get better?
I get it. But because you use your downtime every day, even throughout the summer, to clean your speed pours.
Using a jigger slows you down, but it gives you a better result as far as how much you're actually pouring. But many places will say, hey, we're doing so much business that we can't just sit here and jigger everything out. You need to be better at your speed pouring and making sure that you're pouring the correct amount of ounces into a drink. I know that a lot of times things like whiskey that are a little bit more expensive, or scotches, then they're not getting a speed pour, but they're tending to be sticky. Are you sleeping? I'm talking to you. Are you sleeping? This is ridiculous.
I think he might have been nodding off a little bit.
A little bit.
Tell Ryan Vandal I'll be in the car waiting for him to get here, okay?
That's fine. We'll do the rest of the show.
We can just carry on without you, like we were going to before when you were trying to figure out how to plug in the headphones.
Gotcha. Heard.
We were unprepared for the show, apparently.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's things that you see Nooms too, though, in the back end of the house that could use tending to, no?
Yeah, I mean, there's always the ability to maintain your walk-in or maintain your storage area and your pantry space. Just keeping sure that everything is neat and organized and consolidated properly, so it doesn't build up to the point where things are so out of place that you can't find anything when you need it.
This is riveting conversation right now. You're talking about clean speed pours. You're talking about organizing the walk-ins. How does the staff going to get hyped up for the busy season when it comes? We're just spending ourselves falling asleep.
I don't know, man. Have you ever walked into a really clean and nicely organized walk-in?
Yeah, but it doesn't make me yes, I'm going to.
Makes me get tonight. That way.
Yeah.
All right, maybe you're right.
I'm super excited.
But talking about it's not
So
fun.
I'm going to send you a picture of what our walk-ins look like when they're proper, and it's exciting.
What everyone doesn't know is that when Just goes back to the restaurant, he's going to formulate this whole sheet of to-do work that was branded right here in this room right now.
Well, no, what I'm going to do is go write the State of the Union, and then that's a real thing. I don't know why you're laughing.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't mean the one for the country.
I was about to say.
No, I mean the State of the Union of the restaurant, and then do the whole schedule for the year, and that's what we're going to write out, and that's what I like to use the downtime for. Is getting ready for the business.
To plan out your entire year.
We'll have a big meeting where I call it the State of the Union, and we'll talk about the year that we just had and everything we plan to do for the year coming up, and all the if we're going to change any procedures, or we're going to do something cool, or if we're going to open a new store or any of that kind of stuff. We'll address that in this big meeting, and then we'll also go through the calendar and say, hey, we got this event coming up, we got this event coming up. So today's February, March. Middle of March, we got St. Patty's Day, and then you guys better be ready, because then we have this and this and this and this, and before you know it, we're on holiday break already.
Are you doing Burger Blast this year?
We are, yeah.
Awesome. Burger Blast is
it's a burger competition in June, hosted by Western Magazine up at the Kensico Dam.
And I'm pretty sure we're gonna do Brisket King again. I think we're gonna do Rib King.
What day of the week is Brisket King?
I forget. I'll have to check.
Let me know.
Do you feel that taking part in these really helps the business out as far as exposure goes? Because there's people that are very anti taking part in anything that the towns or cities are doing.
So, locally, I think it's good for exposure. you don't see any really direct.
Yeah.
Like,
or you see minimal. I'd say
minimal, yeah. Maybe you get a couple. So if 1,000 people come to Wingfest, for instance, right?
Yeah.
And we won Wingfest both
categories
unanimously.
You can't see it. He's actually tapping himself on the back right now.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So, but
Well
we
deserved.
won. So let's say we served 1,000 people at Wingfest. I was gonna say Wingfoot because that's the next thing on my mind. We served 1,000 people at Wingfest. Maybe 10, 15 people came in and said, "We had the wings at Wingfest. We had to choose. We had to come in." But it's good content. So when we put it on all our social stuff, people see it that way. We get the trophies to hang in the store.
And there's also word of mouth that you can't really track. You know what I mean?
Word of
From
mouth.
people there, people like seeing it on the socials, that sort of thing.
And it's a sales thing now. Maybe you didn't go to Wingfest and come in directly because of that, but
you know we were there.
Yeah, the staff knows we were there. We can say, "Oh, we made these wings for Wingfest. We competed in it." Even if you didn't win, you can say we competed in this competition and whatever. And same thing for all the events. But if you win something like Brisket King, that's pretty cool. Or we were tossing around the idea of going to Windy City Smokeout this year. I don't know if that's going to work out, but that's a big trip.
Yeah,
and that's cool. In Chicago.
That's in Chicago. Yeah.
Okay. That could be cool and notoriety for a growing restaurant brand that's looking to expand maybe and put a couple more stores up, right?
I feel like that gets your staff excited if you spend the slow time talking about how busy you're about to be in like 2 weeks.
Starts building the hype.
You know?
I call it buying time. Get them excited. We've still got more time to go.
Everybody that needs to take some time off, take it off now. Because if you ask me next month, I'm saying no, and that's a hard no. I already put it out, the whole list of all the weekends you're not allowed to take off.
Yeah, I saw that.
So you say, too, in doing these events and showing up, a lot of times there's costs associated to doing these events, too, no?
Like physical costs of buying the product to,
Yeah.
For sure.
And not only that, but also costs to be part of the event because it helps pay for the event to happen as it is. But what you said a second ago, though, was it creates content, which is super important to have nonstop. Like, there's guys out there that are recycling the same photo over and over again on their Instagram, and you're like, hey, I've seen this photo now 9 times that you've put it up in the last 2 months. Can you start taking more photos? You're in the restaurant every single day. Why is that not being done? But we did a video for Burger Blast. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
That was a couple of years ago.
It was a couple years ago, and that was great content. We mixed down a video that was about a minute long or a minute and a half long, and
made it on the homepage for the website.
And
it was a nice video.
And that thing could get recycled a couple times a year.
I know you guys can't see it right now, but Jay's patting himself on the back.
Yeah,
it's good to give it gives your restaurant a little character if you're doing things outside of the restaurant. It leads to like a personality.
Yeah.
So when people come in, you see different content in different places, and you're not just locked into the same thing every single day.
True.
Beer's here.
Whoa. There go the sloops that you were talking about, huh? Oh, man. This is going to be delicious. Thank you so much, Rye, for bringing through some Sloop Juice Bombs. Coincidentally enough, they sponsor the show. You've made a great, fantastic choice here.
Beautiful choice.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I think this is cool, too, because, how many conversations have we had now? We've talked coffee. We've had business owner restaurant talks. We've done
a couple of different chefs
architectural talks. We've had chef talks. And someone's like, why the hell are they interviewing a DJ? What is this?
Well, why? Because have you ever walked into a restaurant that isn't playing any music?
No.
Well, there you go.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But we've got Ryan Vandal here today. Welcome.
What's up? How's it going?
This is a spectacle to have you here, and I think we're going to talk a lot about the various things that you're definitely an expert in, and one of that is DJing. One of those other things I think personally is branding, right? You started off branding yourself at the end of the day, which is how you formulated this whole thing.
I did, and I think, being a DJ or any business owner, you have to kind of do a lot of things when it comes to branding and marketing. You have to be your own machine, until you're able to get 5-6 different people working on your brand or your business.
So do you have a team that's helping out in all these various channels?
I do, but it's still always a struggle because, I always have to be on top of it, make sure everything's going well.
Well, sure.
And I mean, you've been doing it since you were a kid.
So I was 10.
Yeah.
10. Yeah.
It's insane. At 10, they were like, he's going to be a prodigy DJ, guys. But
I definitely remember seeing your wrapped van years and years ago, right after high school. I remember seeing that parked outside places.
A lot of people honking. I was always mad, and then I was like, oh, can I curse on here?
Yeah.
Okay. Ask that.
Now I'm just going to put a bleep on every single thing you say, just for fun.
So yeah, people were just honking at me, and I got so annoyed, and then I said, "Honk if you need a DJ." I always just forgot that. But yeah, it was cool. That was a funny thing.
So like, we'll touch on it quickly though. And you had a love for music as a kid, I presume, and that essentially evolved into getting a pair of CDJs or maybe some Tech 1200s, right?
Yeah, I was like in the theater, the arts, kind of, singing and dancing and whatnot when I was young, and then it kind of just transpired into DJing. I took like turntable and my neighbor's records and just started scratching because my parents would get pissed if I started scratching on their records.
So you found the Hall & Oates album next door and you were like, let me scratch on that.
She had some weird shit. Yeah, it was like classical, and I made it work. I learned how to scratch from that. I guess,
sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a couple different types of scratches at the end of the day. Not to go super deep into the DJing side of things, but you got the crab down, right?
Yeah.
What's that sound make?
Yeah.
This is what I love about DJs is they make these sounds nonstop. It's fantastic.
So then what else you got? What other sounds you got?
What's some of the other scratches? I know the crab one. That's the only one I remember.
Oh man, there's so many. I'm horrible with names. I wish we had turntables. I could just kind of show you.
Do you? And in the evolution of the way music has gone, I had a pair of 1200s, right? And that's that was the standard for so long.
I still use them.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh wow. And then CDJs kind of came along, and people were like, "Well, I don't have to carry crates anymore, right?"
They had CDs too. There were CDs, right?
Yep. Totally. And then the Serato box popped out of nowhere.
That was like the best thing and the worst thing, I think, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it made it so much more accessible to people to be able to just be a DJ now by getting this box and plugging it into a laptop. And, I've got all this music. Now I figured out how to do it. And then having a Serato box make things more accessible to people, did that start hurting the DJ as far as getting gigs? And
I think in a way it kind of it's like everyone can be a DJ. So as far as like this is just my opinion, I think talent there's been a big loss for talent in like the DJ world as a whole, because anyone could pick up and get a gift for their Christmas or holiday and kind of hey, I'm going to be a DJ. So yeah, I think that, people building a brand now is super, super important. I think there's a lot of less talent out there, personally, because of that.
I think that kind of makes sense. This is the same thing that happens with a lot of things. As soon as it becomes easily accessible for like the masses, everybody dips their hand into it, and then it just all becomes watered down. Same thing happened with photography. I used to consider myself a photographer. Now everybody has a freaking camera in their pocket, so everybody's a photographer. You know what I mean?
And apps like Adobe Lightroom come about, or Photoshop, that just make things so much easier for you to actually produce
less
a nice photo.
Knowledge and skill to do what used to be a hard task.
Exactly.
You basically need to be everything, right? You need to market it, you need to brand it.
Yeah.
You need a whole kind of team. You need to be a one-man team.
And that's
one woman team.
That's with every business though too. And now you do own your own business, and it is an entertainment company.
That's correct.
So doing that too, you have to have a team around you that's able to help get everything in order, whether it be the sales side, the marketing side, or the execution, showing up on the scene to actually deliver what is needed for that event, right?
Yeah, I think a lot goes into it. Just like, you're not getting booked for 4 hours to do an event. You're getting the legwork is going to be months and months of preparation, and you need everybody. The DJ isn't going to be doing the lights, and the MC is not going to be whatever it might be, taking photos. So it's definitely cool. It's cool to have the diverse type of events and have a good team behind me that I can trust to do the really, really cool events. So it took me travel the whole world, basically. Well, not the whole world, but a good part of it.
There's been huge growth over the last 10 years, I think, at least, right?
Yeah.
In saying that too, you do a handful of different type of things. You definitely started off doing more bar work, I think, right? Showing up to whatever the local pubs are and throwing a Friday night, Saturday night party, to then now graduating somewhere, doing some radio in between there, just a little Shave 45 showing up.
Yep, Shave 45, some intern, some help work, some guest DJing. I was on Desert Storm with the Clue for a while, and kind of just I was interning for Enough. Shouts to Enough. I was at Hot 97. That was cool.
Did
so I was just finding my lane. A-list, yeah.
Yep.
Did you read my bio? He must be.
I used to sleep on that A-list radio couch for like 4 hours before going in to do the boards for the shows.
Dope.
But yeah, you know, that journey, you start learning one thing and it tumbleweeds into learning more. And as time goes on, you take those previous learnings and you apply them to new things, which is how you develop your own business at some point, because you've already taken your burns previously down the road.
Exactly.
Where then you can say, okay, this is how we do this. I need invoices for this. I need to send these out appropriately, or I have to follow up and get paid.
100%. You find what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you don't want to do. I didn't want to get on the radio side of things, just specifically, but I know people that want to do that, and they've been doing that extremely well. So just kind of finding what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, and you know, this is what I like to do for my career. This is my career, so I think finding the journey definitely helped me kind of figure out where I want to be, all that. So it was cool.
That's important too with ownership too, where you said finding what he's good at, what he's not good at. You have a partner, Just, in Smokehouse, and I'm sure you're both not equally good at the same things.
No, and when we started, we had, same like you just said, we had to figure it out. We were both doing both things all the time. We realized Mike is better in the back, I'm better in the front. We split that up.
It was a good decision making.
It was a good decision. So once you figure out what you really want to do, you're much better at it.
Right, how each partner add value and each of their strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. I've had a couple of partners sometime and it doesn't work out. You know, stuff. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You know.
But you've been popping up everywhere, because in the last couple months, I've been seeing on my story, someone's at a party, and then all of a sudden, there you are. They're like filming the DJ, and they're like, look at this DJ, he's killing it. And I'm like, oh, I know that guy. That's my boy right there.
That's funny. Yeah, when we go way back. I'm a huge, burger or beer person, so Smokehouse is the spot right there.
So we were just talking about this a little bit earlier too, and that's content. In finding, we were saying that we do these events, sometimes they won't bring direct monetary value back to the company itself, but you're doing these events to get content at the end of the day, because this is the world that we're living in now, is that we just eat things up so quickly that we just need more, we need more, we need more.
Yep.
So
it's never ending.
In you doing these events too, how important is it for you to be getting photos taken while you're doing this, or running around with a photographer or videographer to cover the events that you're actually doing?
So I think content's huge. I think that you have to find your lane and exactly what you want to do. We try, at least in my company, to do the high-end work, and mostly do that, and that's kind of all we try to do, but also you have to do other jobs that may not be at the margin that you want. I don't want to be the Walmart of weddings or mitzvahs or sweet 16s. Also, that's not what I really want to brand it anyway, so I think it's just, there's definitely times to do it. There's definitely time. I always say you're never too big to do something for free or to show love to people that you care about, and if I'm free, I'm always going to do something to help out. So when you get really busy, I guess that's different. Time. But if you have the time, I say, why not? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Now, don't ask me any more fucking questions.
Need the fucking horn or something, sound effects.
No, you're good. No, but, the people listening to the show, too, they're guys that own businesses.
Right.
Restaurants or bars, whatever it is, or people that serve or bartend in this industry too. And a lot of things that they don't realize is they are their own brand, and they are selling themselves also. They're attached to the business that they work at. So if they're not really pushing and doing the social media to get the attention back in the current landscape of the world that we live in, then it hurts them a little bit, because they're not actually getting their reach out as far as they could be, or pulling in as much business as maybe they could be as well.
It's definitely true. Yeah, there's so much business out in the content world, and through Instagram and social media, the amount of DMs I get from just people say, oh, I was at this party, you were DJing it, or I bet you get a lot of stuff, hey, I found out through Smokehouse through a friend or someone's Instagram. That's how it is, but some people just don't want to get on that wave. I think it's going to hurt them a lot if they don't.
In our current landscape.
And currently how it's going, right.
Totally. And it's almost sad. I'm so anti Web 3.0 world that we're in, but I was going to say simultaneously. Just hates when I say simultaneously. But simultaneously, it's important.
Yeah, no, it is.
Just does call me, and he goes, where's my video? And I go, my hands are tied. I can't just sit on Final Cut and rip down a video real quick. Always, I try.
I think you make it harder than it seems.
See, that's the thing. You don't know. You don't know the struggle.
I mean, actually, you're right, because I just watched you 30 minutes try to plug in some headphones.
Jay has struggles. He has problems.
Can you talk to Ryan? He's got a whole team around him just so he can get this thing done. Okay.
Do you have like a set schedule to when you update your social medias? Is there like a certain number of posts you try to hit each
Yeah,
week?
so I'm so bad. Like recently, I've been horrible with it. I had a personal photographer, a video guy. I mean, it gets tough because everyone's schedules are different, and I'm not trying to, like blow the bank every single day. Even if I'm not doing an event, and do that. But yeah, as far as the schedule, yeah, I definitely need to probably get more consistent with it. Going away for a month next week, so that should be cool. I'm trying to figure out how to do content there by not bringing a video person. So
start posting a Craigslist in that country,
there you
right?
Yeah, well,
Somebody will want to do it.
Whatever you do, just don't hire this guy.
Some crazy guy.
I mean, the amount of like free work that I've done throughout my life is to strengthen my resume at the end of the day. And I have 3 different resumes I could hand out to people. I could do a restaurant resume, I could do a radio resume, and then I could do a graphic design resume for all different work that's done.
And nobody knows what you got for what, or if it was
doesn't
free,
matter.
It doesn't matter, right?
It's like, what was the work done? Who'd you work with?
Exactly.
We did Hot 97. We
Yep.
did A-List Radio. We did Shade 45.
There you go.
That's a strength in radio. As far as restaurants go, you work for all these notable places. And that's another topic I would like to hit on is when you're working for all these notable places, does it hurt you sometimes working for a bar that's maybe less known?
So...
Well, but I mean, you can always choose to leave something off your resume.
So yeah, well, that's the thing. Or like also, there's a lot that I do that's not on my Instagram. I mean, I'm like, this is totally going to be all over it. But there's there's times like you said, it's a constant grind with the content. So you have to make a schedule, and some things you don't show, some things you do. And I try not to show just my highlights. I want people to know like,
right,
this is like you own in the business. Like there's been struggles and there have been great times.
Yeah.
that makes it more like relatable and easy for people to like get
100%.
into.
Yeah,
You
it's
need
the
to
same.
post relatable content, right?
Yeah.
Right. We do a big event with like 1,500 people. That's all over the place. I do someone's backyard party with 20 people in it. I'm not really talking about that too much, but
Right. And the way you can angle it, I think it's the way you angle it that you can actually put it on social media. There's a certain way
That's
to
a
do
good
it.
statement.
Right?
This dude is a marketer right here because that's only a statement a marketer would make. Angle it in the way that it needs to be viewed to make it look attractable, right?
Right. Well, just attractable, appealable.
Appealing?
Is that a
I
word?
make up words all the time.
Yeah.
It works. Someone out there is like, attractable. That's a good one.
if you don't question it, he says it
You
with
just
such
let it go. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But he
I know, that kind of flew over my head.
he was questioning when he said it. I was like, no, I can't let you get away with that.
So, but let's rewind a little bit here, right?
Yeah.
In getting to know you here, Newham's just said that, you had a rap van.
I did.
How old were you when you had the rap van?
I want to say I was in 11th grade.
There were not guys running around with wrapped vans.
And the only people that were people like, shouts to Camillo and, shouts to Heavy Hitters and shouts to all the people.
Heavy Hitters is DJ Crew, by the way.
In case you didn't know.
Well known, yeah.
Yeah, they probably didn't know.
They probably
Yeah,
didn't.
they had no idea.
You say Camillo, he's talking about DJ Camillo,
so-
DJ Enough. These are big DJs that have been around for a long time in hip hop world.
So yeah, I mean, besides there was like DJ Magic, he had a car show. I did a lot, really kind of dipped into a lot of different like. I was like my name was Lil Rye at the time, so I had like a hip hop kind of vibe. I was doing strip club. It was kind of just like, all right, what the fuck is this guy doing? So I had to rebrand, and that's kind of where I am today.
I definitely remember seeing that little red truck outside of Old Smokehouse before the renovations.
Yeah.
Like back when it was like a lunch counter.
So
the
we
little
should
red truck would be right out
don't
front.
breeze over the truck, right?
No, the truck was great.
This was the
I'm actually
earliest.
rewrapping it.
Well, this is the earliest.
Wait, does it still
aspect
say
of
Lil
branding.
Rye on it?
No, I had to. Once I first the picture
Rebranded.
was probably like I don't know. It was so old. It's just and the guy they fucked up on the wrap, so like they messed up the Photoshop, so it looked like it was like bottom of a strawberry. Like it looked like I hated it, but I was like, all right. It took like 3 months to do. I said, all right, whatever. Let's just put it out there, and it worked. I mean, yeah, it's cool marketing, right?
No, nobody was paying
absolutely.
attention to the photo on it as much as you think, right?
Well, the
We're
left
always
side
at
was
worst
better than the
critic.
right side, but I had it was
specific
always a
sides.
problem. Yeah, so I had to try to, see what I was parking, what angle. Back to the angles.
So, in those earliest terms, were you just kind of emulating guys that were already doing what was perceived successful or maybe successful to that point where you said, all right, this is a good idea in marketing, let's wrap the truck?
Yeah, and I think that it was definitely a lot of money for being, young, and not even money, a risk, kind of just, okay, cool, I'm going to put my fucking face on a van and just drive everywhere, and my office number on it, and all my Instagram, Instagram wasn't, at the time, it wasn't out yet, so Twitter and BBMs used to go crazy. BBMs. But it's kind of like a vulnerable thing, putting all your information, your face, and driving around in a fucking van. Most of the time, I wasn't driving it, so like it'd be other people.
Found a homeless guy, like, yo, you want a job?
That was it. Yeah, I paid him like $1 a day, and it was all good. But yeah, no, that was definitely one of the part of the journey. That was fun. It was a lot of good times.
So that's an easy aspect in getting a name out there. And restaurants do this too. Bars do it too. They wrap their trucks. You're wrapping a truck right now.
He's got a wrap truck right now.
That's dope.
It's taking like 3 months to do. But.
Oh, it's still not even done yet.
No.
Oh,
at the end of the day, he'll have it though, and it'll be driving around town or parked somewhere and absorbing tickets if you forget to pay the meter. We have meters out here where we live. You got to pay those.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
So in branding and doing this, you said, all right, we're wrapping the truck because we have to get people to know that I'm doing this, and there's a number on there. Come back to me on MySpace, whatever it was at that time.
Yeah. It was my BBM, MySpace. Yeah,
and then also you had a website then being built out at the same time.
So much money on websites. I don't know why. It was a thing, right? It was something about marketing and showing what. See, that's funny, right? Because so I can show you the actual site, but yeah, it's fucked up. So I hate that picture.
I just pointed out the website we had on the big screen for him.
So obviously that's like a splash page.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's important. So for example, if someone Googles my name, they look it up, whatever they're gonna see, that's not really a website. But I think it's important to, me doing this tour. I think it's important that people only know what they see, right? So I'm in front of their face with a van, and now I changed my name, right? And it's confusing. So I think if I was giving advice on like some type of marketing or branding, stay consistent. And I had to change my name just because it wasn't the vibe I was looking for. It was almost hurting me than doing any good.
That also leads me into another thing I want to talk about too. As somebody that does graphic design, I like to look at branding and logos as my dominant area.
Right.
So to see you evolve as somebody DJing and a public figure, so to speak, too, is you shed the Lil Ry look to have also a more modern persona, really, at the end of the day.
Yep.
And rebranding to something that's more current to the times. And a lot of times when I do design work, I'm trying to look ahead to see what will last longer than something that's just going to be there for a year and then say, that's just a trend.
That's smart that you do that. Smart that you do that because a lot of people don't. That was just a nickname that I got, the first name, so it was kind of stuck with me.
Well, you were 10.
I was 10, right? No, yeah. They just called me. I don't think I was much bigger than I am now, so they're like, oh, Little Ryan, and it kind of stuck. And then the Ryan Vandal thing, it's cool. It could go, corporate, it can go, whatever, nightclub, I'm not putting me in a box. So
And that's important. And not only that, but Ryan Vandal doing a show at Vandal is a riot to me.
That was funny.
Vandal is a New York City club.
That was amazing. That was last year for my birthday.
Nice.
Who approached who in that situation?
They approached me.
That's
Good for
great.
you.
Yeah.
They were like, this is gonna be a great situation. We got a DJ that was built for this place.
Yeah, no, it was super. It was a fun time, and it was very weird because they're like, "Wait, what?" People just were hitting me up. Ryan Vandal. I'm super confused.
So when we talk about social media and bars and restaurants getting their stuff together as far as perception to the public and utilizing these tools that are kind of built in to generate what's the word I'm looking for? Clientele.
Just make
revenue
it up.
streams.
Just make it up.
Is there something that you can tell these guys that are listening that are looking to brand themselves maybe equally as well? When you guys see Ryan Vandal and see everything that he's put out, you're going to say this is good stuff. This is quality, and this is maybe how we should be branding or look at branding our spots to generate more business and income. Is there something that they can do easily to just change perception?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think we touched on being relatable, so I think that's super important. And having something as simple, like for bringing up Smokehouse, that's just a simple logo. It's cool. People remember it. Ryan Vandal logo, it's cool. I mean, we were talking about like a restaurant. I mean, do something simple. Don't make it too complicated for people to understand. Make them think about it. My buddy, his name is DJ 4B. Just bringing back to the DJ thing. You know how many 4Bs you see on the highway, traffic, exit signs, apartment numbers? Like, that's relatable. I love them, but if I didn't like them, I'd fucking see 4B everywhere, and I'd still be like, fuck this guy. But that's the homie. But yeah, it's that's kind of in your face no matter what. It was a very smart move on his part.
Are we to the point where we're shedding DJ from guys' names and just going with guys' names?
It's good and it's bad because...
It's good as a search term, but it's terrible
when
as
people don't, like, if you didn't say I was a DJ, I don't think people would know.
If you go through my phone and you go straight to the D and J after, it's a ridiculous list and it aggravates me.
I
Yours is
actually
the
want to
same.
show you. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Touching on that, I think that...
You could scroll for
that's
a second.
probably that's like the same for each profession because my phone's listed with like chef. So it's like Chef Ethan, Chef Josh, chef blah blah blah.
And that's also a signifier of what realm you live in at the end of the day too. Just does yours say owner Chad, owner John,
server?
This goes by restaurants, so it's a little easier.
I used to work for a guy that would look for female bartenders, obviously, to come behind the bar.
And he would write female bartender?
No, he would not. He would put the name, and then he would put exclamation points. And the number of exclamation points that were after the name were how much he needs to get this girl behind the bar.
Oh, my God.
Everybody has their little tips and tricks. Shout out to Ryan Leslie. That's my boy. He has this whole kind of super phone app that is basically to connect with your fans. Like, so you can have a bunch of Instagram, Twitter followers, Facebook, whatever. If that went away tomorrow, let's say for a restaurant, if you can't text these people, you don't have their numbers, how are you going to reach them? So that's important. So going back to the whole kind of DJ thing, chef thing, I think you need to know, who you want to work with and who's, as far as your clients, as far as people, your vendors, your suppliers, whatever. Keeping a really cool contact book and list of, you need to talk to, he says 30 people a day. But it really depends. Yeah, you need to keep in the know and be in the know of what people's doing, even though it's hard because we're in 2020 where like every second something new comes out.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Talking to 30 people a day.
I talk to 30 people by noon.
Well, they're usually
restaurant
talking to him.
Yeah, well, they're calling him to get the bills paid.
Yeah.
Owner problems. But in talking to 30 people a day, that's kind of just opening yourself up to create new business, essentially, right? Or bounce off of somebody else. Yeah.
I mean, just kind of, you should be talking to people that you want to do business with and you're friends with. And, yeah, I mean, I think it's important, the community that you're in. I mean, in anything, you talk to a bunch of people, you have friends in airlines, friends in construction, friends in whatever.
So associate yourself in the right areas.
Yeah, why not? People should be helping each other, I think.
It would be funny at A-List when one of the shows would bring in a guest that was in town, and then the next morning I'd wake up and go to Angela Yee's show on Sirius. And the guest would walk in and he'd be like, "Oh, Jay, what's up?" and Angela would be like, "Why do you know our intern?" I'm like, well, we were just hanging out yesterday at the other radio station.
That's it.
But it's important to surround yourself around the people that you need to be working with. And Anooms, I'm sure you send out messages to other chefs and be like, "Check what I just made."
No, I don't do that.
Did you not hear him talk to 30 people a day? This is.
Maybe I'm
working on it.
Maybe I will. But
Does it count if you post a picture and 30 people look at it?
I mean, I do that, but I don't send pictures off to people.
I mean, it also it doesn't matter how many people like your photo or interaction. It's actually who actually does something about it.
Right.
That's why I think the followers and likes are kind of doesn't really. It looks all just like a smoke and mirror type of thing. People have to actually with the cell phone. Just touching on it because it's easier. We were texting 1, 2, 3. You know.
We were talking about that earlier. It's more about engagement than anything else.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be it's a quality. Sorry, fuck. quality over quantity type of deal, you know? Yeah.
So
So
you get somebody to react, whether it's coming into the restaurant and react to food, or on Instagram and share it with somebody, or if they see you at a party and they decide, you know what, I'm going to take a video of this guy and send it to all my friends. That's the quality part.
Yeah.
Of it.
yeah, that
You
definitely
did
helps.
something to make them react. So
Well, you see it. Someone was there. They saw
Yeah.
me DJ. Then they were friends with you. Then they reposted it or something.
Right.
And
It's
you
It's called
saw
the
it.
tumbleweeding effect.
That's it.
which
It's
is
domino
very important.
effect.
Yeah.
Or tumbleweed, yeah.
how much are you now out marketing like yourself, in the sense of going to jobs trying to get a job, or are you more getting requests in?
So I think there's a little bit of both. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the one to say like, oh, I'm really behind it full force. You know, it may not look like it, like, because I'm always out DJing, but I'm definitely front and center when it comes to trying to find the right brands you want to work with, or the marketing, or sending out hundreds of emails a day. And, you know, it's
Well,
crazy.
I hope so. You have all day to do it. I mean, you're working at night.
See, then it comes into the segue of, you know, owning a business, being a DJ, and also being a dad, a single dad. So that in itself is, I guess, is a balance. So dealing with that was pretty cool.
Now, so put yourself back in, I guess, 18 to 22-year-old Rise shoes.
I was upset for sure.
Well, it's like you're trying to get the gigs.
Well, I was always pushing. I was always pushing to do more. Like, I had
You
these
should.
stupid little goals in my head. It's like, all right, by 19, I'm gonna do this. By 20 or by 21, but like it didn't happen. I think it was never a clear. It was never a clear goal.
Yeah, but shoot for the stars and land in the moon.
You're right. You're close, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel that heavily. But in that point too, you're saying, all right, I need more bar gigs, maybe, because that's how money comes in.
Right.
And how do you go about? And we're speaking to everyone out here that might be pulling on DJs or whatnot. How do you go about getting that business?
Well, I think music plays a big part in, you know, restaurants and bars and nightclubs as a whole. So I think telling those people, you know, and you're actually adding value. So depending on what they want to do at the night, I don't know whether they're selling, you know, they're making a lot of money at the bar, there's a good DJ, and that person's coming in and, you know, bringing people. But I think that helps. I think adding value and kind of telling them, hey, like, this is music, kind of makes everything go around, puts people in a better mood, depending on what you're playing and when you're playing it. A good music curator can really, like, make the night go. So how do sorry, I'm giving you these long-winded answers.
No, you should be giving us these long-winded answers.
I feel
we
like,
got time.
Yeah, no, I just think that it's important to kind of, like, say this is the value that I can give you.
So how do you quantify that value to a bar owner or a restaurant owner? Because I know everybody that walks in and says, I can do this at your place. You know, we've done a couple live, like we've had live music,
Right.
guys playing, and they're always like, I can come in and, you know, we can make a good night out of it. And I'm always like, no, I'm going to have a good night, whether you're there or not. You
Yeah.
want me to pay you, you know,
Right.
to play, and you're telling me that that's going to add value. So how do you quantify that? Because I've always struggled with it. Like, how do I know?
I think the term add value is a bad term to use, because that's kind of what a lot of people like to say.
Right.
You get emails, people are like, I can
I
add value.
agree.
I'm like,
It's a bad task.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck off, you know, block. But asking questions, right?
Ryan's got a bunch more to talk about with us about how to get those gigs and the impact and strategies used while DJing to keep the crowd moving. Make sure you subscribe on your platform to the show so part 2 pops up in your new releases section soon.
Right about now, Waiting on Fries Court is in full effect. Judge J residing in the case of Waiting on Fries against the Yelp Reviewers of America. Prosecuting attorneys are Anu Bandel and Justin Zato. Order, order, order.
We came in for lunch for a friend's birthday for a Saturday brunch. Unfortunately, our experience with the service was very disappointing. The food was delicious and moderately priced for what you're getting. I'm giving 3 stars because of the service. Our server, along with a few other servers, were all sharing chicken wings by the bar, licking their fingers, and then bringing us drinks and food over. 2 of us work in the restaurant food industry and know how to manage a restaurant. Letting your customers watch you licking fingers and serve food is a no-no. It took about 20 minutes for our server to come take our order, and when he did, he came over and said, "Is there anything else I can get you?" We were confused because he never even began to take our order yet. Through our meal, no one checked on us, and I had to get up to the bar when they were eating their wings to get the table water. Not once did our server come over and ask us if we needed anything. Our minds were blown by how poor the service was. That's kind of a rough review. I mean, if that's actually the way it went down, that's kind of poor.
I feel like that's probably the way it went down. I have an issue, and as I always learned, you never eat behind the bar. And I know this isn't behind the bar, this is in this corner, but it's a corner nonetheless in front of all the guests. The reason why casinos don't have clocks is because they don't want you to remember what time it is. That way you spend more money there.
Windows and whatnot. Yeah.
So the same thing applies to sitting in a restaurant. The people that are handling your food, you don't want to watch them sitting there grubbing out, getting their fingers dirty, licking their fingers, and doing all these nasty things.
That specifically is just very nasty.
Completely. I mean, even, I've said this before, I'll go as far as to not use a urinal in our bathrooms because we don't have a separate bathroom for employees. I won't use a urinal. I'll go into a private room so I don't have to remind people that we're all human and we do the same things.
By private room, he means a stall.
That's what I meant. to me, it's a private room.
Wait, you're going into the private dining room and just pissing all over the place?
No, but this is essentially the thing, is that it was all in people's faces in plain view where they were able to see somebody eating these things, licking their fingers. I don't even order something I use my hands on. I use a knife and a fork for whatever I'm going to order just so I don't have to have people behind the bar seeing that I'm using my hands.
I thought you just said you never eat behind the bar.
Well, I'm forced to in one of the places that I work.
Just don't eat.
You're almost correct, but I don't want to starve, so.
Eat before you get to work.
So here's the thing, right? You're correct. It's not sanitary. No one wants to see your hands all over the place. You got to wash your hands. No one wants to see the person serving them eat, but it's really comes down to more of a subconscious thing. The reason why people go out to eat, other than going out for an experience or like a great meal, but the other reason why is convenience. Mm-hmm. You don't want to cook for yourself. You don't want to wash the dishes yourself. You don't want to have to do any of that stuff. If you are put in a scenario where now it looks like you're inconveniencing somebody to come take care of you, then it's just not going to feel right. And if you're sitting there at the bar and the guest sees you eating and you, oh, hold on, let me just wipe all my hands.
That's very true, and I've never thought about it like that.
And I come out, and now you are inconveniencing someone else to come get your stuff that you're paying premium price for.
That's like the same thing if you walk into an empty bar and there's someone sitting at the counter who clearly works there eating lunch, you might just turn around and walk away.
Right.
Yeah.
If they have to get up and put their stuff down, like, oh, you know.
Eat your lunch, I'll go
even if you
else.
don't actually care, subconsciously you're going to care that you interrupted someone for your own needs.
Yeah.
And that's the feeling that you don't want to create.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go back to your meal. But after that, can I please get a water because I'm thirsty? No, he's correct though.
I learned something in 20 years.
And to add to that too, recently I have a barback that doesn't really have a lot of barback experience. I wish I was the guy that was training him, but I'm not the person of say in this one place that I work at. And oftentimes he'll order barbecue wings, and I'm just like, yo, what are you doing ordering barbecue wings behind the bar, licking your fingers and doing this? Do I have to show you the Yelp review from, the last show that we just did?
Jay, you know what you missed a great opportunity. You know what you could have done? Hand him a pair of rubber gloves. Just told him to be on his way.
And that's how you bring that back.
It's called going full circle.
I love it. We have to do better. We have to think ahead, and we have to think about what the other people are expecting and looking at and seeing from their point of view, and not necessarily, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
Eat with a fork and knife, like a civilized
Except
person.
Or you know what you can do?
Don't
try
you
to
dare eat your wings with a fork and knife. Don't you dare.
I'll agree with that. But just try to implement a staff meal at your restaurant, so you guys all sit down and eat together.
I'm not implementing shit. I'm not the voice there to implement anything. New guy on totem pole. They want no part of my conversation.
I guess we should check our voicemail.
Hey, you've reached Waiting on Fries. Send us your voicemail. You have one new message.
Jay, what's going on, boys? It's Josh here. I'm calling in for Waiting on Fries. Pretty stoked right now, not gonna lie. So I wanted to talk about an issue that's pretty rampant in our industry. Whether you're a cook, a chef, you could be a restaurant owner, you could be a bartender. All throughout the restaurant industry, you could see how important it is for people to really take care of themselves, and for my biggest thing, I've never really had too many issues with mental health, but we all work probably 12, 13 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week, and it can be very overwhelming, especially to cook straight out of culinary school or people just trying to find their way.
I can sort of relate in a lot of senses. However, I also don't relate. But I see this all the time show up on the forums or the groups where people are saying, how do you deal with all of the stress that, being in a restaurant puts on? And I can understand it maybe at the end of a long night where you've been listening to loud music all day and trying to read people's lips because you can't hear them scream what kind of drink they would like to have. And it's a lot to take in on the brain. I don't even listen to music when I'm on the way home. I sit in silence. So, I could get what they're talking about.
I can understand the mental fatigue aspect of it. I mean, I think you might have been exaggerating a little bit saying that they're in the wrong career.
I am, because it's
you get the need to have a bit of an outlet and not want to go over your day in such detail because you just lived it. You know what I mean? So for me, I go to the gym at the end of the night after work, and that's just how I deal with my day. I feel good after that, and I feel good in the morning when I wake up. I'm ready to tackle the next day. And I think, like Jorge, we had him on. I'm sure his MMA helps deal with the stress and the tension that he deals with. You know what I mean?
No, it's actually tough because that's the exact situation, especially in our industry, where dudes get into trouble.
Yeah.
And you'd rather do something like go to the gym or MMA.
You'd rather have a positive outlet for all this
I like
stress
to shoot
and
baskets,
tension.
when I go to the gym, but there's some people that
we'll take it the opposite way.
Go to the opposite way.
And just start drinking or something like that.
Something like that. So
you don't dribble with no ball.
But, yeah. I don't think that was relevant.
Oh.
You're not.
What was that term?
It's
NERP.
Moving without the ball. Yeah, NARP.
NARP.
And working in nightlife, I've seen so many people get broken down and broken apart as youth coming in to be in these types of atmospheres where it's they're borderline 21, right? And it's the first time they've seen all this action before. And they get so pulled into the lights, the DJ, is
the
he
life
single?
of it all, yeah.
And having all these drinks, and all of a sudden you just foresee a downward spiral start to happen. And part of me wants to just grab shirt collars and put on my cape and
chill
just
out.
be slow down.
Yep.
You can't absorb this that fast like this.
I think it's hard. You got to have a thick what is it? Thick shell or thick skull? Thick skin, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to have a thick skin to work in the business.
We take in a lot. As a young server, I remember getting scolded by some woman at a table for not knowing something, and I was just
that happen. It's terrible.
And I was young to the point where I was almost embarrassed. Now I would reverse the tables real quick because it's a different story. But
not on a guest. Not on a guest.
It depends on where we're going and where we work.
Never on a guest.
But I've also been behind the bar first night where guys were like, oh, this is going to be a great night. And I look up in front of my well and there's just girls dancing with no panties in front of my well. And I'm like, well, there is definitely going to be a lot to take in on this nightlife that we live. I mean, we sell sex here.
I was about to say, Jay sells sex. He works in different environments than the rest of us. I don't know where it is that he's working or what it is that he's doing, but Jay sells sex.
Shout out to the girl in the skirt.
None of that's ever happened in any of my environments, but whatever. If that's your thing. Keep rocking. I've definitely worked a few expo shifts though where I've been asked 35 questions in 10 seconds.
Yep.
And all of the questions are ones that people could have figured out by themselves. But it's immediately they see me and it's just I don't have to figure this out myself. I'm just gonna ask, hey, should I go to the bathroom now or not? I have to pee. Yeah, go to the bathroom. Stop asking me to go to the bathroom. Just go to the bathroom.
Perfect example of that exact situation. Last night we were working, I don't know, it was 8:30, so mid high point of dinner service. Jorge is on the line next to me. He's speaking to the servers about some sort of issue that was going on with some table's plate of food. And I asked him for a rundown on all the first course items that my fish entremet needed to hand up. And I said, Chef, could I get a rundown on all the snacks Alice needs to pass up? And his first answer was, not right now. I was okay. So then I needed this information. So I go to somebody else who's sitting there looking at all the tickets so I get the information. We get it. We figured it out. We're good. And then 2 minutes later, Jorge's like, what did you ask?
What did you ask? You kind of wake up from it. I'm the same way. I turn into such a jerk.
Yeah.
I'm back there and they're just asking questions and I'm like, No.
There's
And
a
you
lot
don't
of,
mean to be a dick about it, but like you just got to get it out of the way right now.
there's a lot of guys I've worked beside also that when we get out at the end of the night, keep in mind we're in New York, so the bars close at 4 a.m. We get out and get home by like 5 if you live in close proximity. Some guys drive an hour to where they work, which is insane to me. But by the time they get home, they're like, I can't go to sleep. Like
Yep.
I'm
All wired all night.
Yeah, that's why I take the trip to the gym.
I've tried to put myself into the box where if I'm getting home on a late night like that, I'm putting my phone on the other side of the room, I'm showering, I'm turning all the lights off, I'm going straight into the bed and forcing it upon myself to just pass out and get my Z's in. Otherwise, next thing you know, you're waking up at 3 p.m. the next day.
Yep.
Like, ready for my morning. Let me get my 3 p.m. coffee so I get all my Starbucks rewards on the late coffee end.
Sometimes you just end up staring at the ceiling for an hour, though.
Yeah.
Thinking about all the stuff that's got to go.
That is a problem.
You ever be like at someone's throat, like the whole entire shift, and then it's over and everybody clocks out and you're best friends again?
Yeah.
Always. We would celebrate with a shot of Jameson at the end of the bar.
Let's say, and you're like waiting for them so you can walk out together and head to the bar. All right, guys. Good talk. See you out there.
That's my line. Good talk.
But we got to go. So
Good talk. See you out there.
don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button because algorithms.